I've pitched in the big leagues this is my 8th year. I have nothing to prove. I really don't, and I believe that. But I feel like I have so much to prove.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Nate. This is Talking Candy, and we've got a special guest today. Someone that's been on the show before, about a year ago. It's been a little while, but you know him as potentially know him as Chicken Strip, Ross Stripling, pitcher for the Giants, also a big candy collector, and a new candy ambassador as well. Strip, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming.
Nate, what's up, man? Good to be back. Lots changed since the last time I was on this show, for sure. So excited to dive into some stuff with you and just catch up, man.
Yeah, a lot has changed indeed. Much different environment than it was a year ago. I'm sure we'll touch on some of the same stuff, but some new conversation as well. We're also going to rip some new rookie packs. Those just dropped on Monday. For anybody that hasn't checked those out yet, those sold out pretty quickly on Monday, but can still get them on the secondary marketplace. So we're going to open, I think we're going to open 3 of those packs tonight. So we'll mix in some conversation about candy, baseball, current MLB rule changes, stuff like that, and we'll mix in some pack rips as well. So kind of wanted to just start off with the fact that you're a candy ambassador now. Last year you were just a regular schmuck like the rest of us, and now you are an official ambassador along with what is it? We got Alonso, Rizzo, Jazz, and Michael Harris. So how did that come to be? What's that been like?
Yeah, I think Candy just kind of recognized that I was tweeting about their stuff and promoting their stuff and talking about them, kind of any chance I could on things like this and other platforms. And as far as I know, they reached out through me to my Instagram first, to where then I kind of put them onto my agency, where that kind of stuff kind of really gets finished up. But I told them it's a no-brainer on both ends. Like, I told Candy I'm in, and I told my agency make it happen. I like their stuff. All it is essentially making it official, as far as just kind of the stuff that I'm already talking about and promoting, and now it's just an official relationship, which is cool. I'm excited. I think Candy's doing some really fun things, and those are 4 other guys that I'm a part of the ambassador program with, that are probably bigger names than me. So I'm fun to be attached to those guys. And help Candy grow. I feel like they have some cool products and a platform that's already getting going, but it can obviously rise to higher highs. And I think that a couple of guys that they got as ambassadors, including myself, are happy to promote them as best we can.
Awesome, yeah, and we've seen Candy do the meet and greet with Michael Harris down in Atlanta. I think they did a call with Pete Alonso. And I know that you've got something on the docket as well. Not sure if that's officially scheduled yet, but I'm sure people are looking forward to getting a little more access. This is something that you and I talked about last time you were on, finding those little opportunities that aren't too overbearing for the players, but also just create a nice connection between collector and player. And I think that everybody has a little added appreciation for the fact that you've got a collection of your own as well. Makes it a little bit more authentic.
Yeah. It'll be fun to talk to people. I think that they'll sync us up with like candy collectors, where we can talk about, what they have, what I have, what we hope Candy does in the future as far as any version of fantasy, or being able to throw a lineup out there, being able to trade, other things that can come in through the website, through the app. And then, also it's kind of what you said. I wish that there could be 100 candy ambassadors. It's just baseball players were hard people to pin down. It's hard to pin us down for an hour and get us to talk to fans through like an online platform that they're going to have, or we're going to sign some stuff and send it out. Guys are going to be able to win stuff that we can, then send to them, that is signed jerseys and things. So all sorts of stuff that Candy's doing that's fun. But it's only 5 guys, right? In a perfect world, it'd be all of us, it'd be hundreds of us. But 5 is a good start, and then hopefully we can keep growing from there.
Love it. Yeah, and kind of touching on something that you just referenced, last time we talked a lot about gamification. We talked about wanting to be able to trade. You talked about wanting to be able to trade with Romano and things of that nature. And we've seen some gamification come into the Candy ecosystem. It's not exactly the fantasy baseball design that you and I had hoped for, discussed. We've talked about the fact that SoRare stepped in and kind of became that medium for the MLB. But what is it that you're looking at now? What is it that you are hoping for, or what is your focus as a collector at this point, given where we are a year later from our last conversation?
Yeah, great question. I would say anything. I want to do anything that involves being able to use my cards, trade them, throw a lineup out there against someone else that maybe get points, or maybe even like, I don't know if this falls under betting on baseball, but like where we could put candy dollars up and you and I throw a lineup up against each other for the night. And if my lineup beats your lineup, I take some of your candy dollars and I can use it on, to buy Packer cards on the marketplace or whatever, something like that. Just like some kind of competitive, I'm a competitive guy. Give me something to compete with my collection. I think we'll get into it. How I'm collecting is kind of in that way, and it's how I collected as a kid. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I'm collecting individual cards. Like, I'm not bulking up. I'm not collecting thousands and thousands of cards. I have, a couple Mookies, couple Kershaws, a Jose Ramirez, a Seager, a Bo Bichette, and anticipating that I need a shortstop, I need a third baseman, I need a center fielder, I need a pitcher, I need a closer, I need a catcher. And, so on top of collecting out of fun and guys that I like, I'm kind of collecting with the end result of being like a lineup that I want to throw out there that's fun for me, or that I can use and feel successful with.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that while we may not get the traditional like point accumulation in terms of a fantasy baseball design, I do think that having some layer of competition come into what they have for these collection challenges, the monthly challenges and the weekly, the candy campaign is what they're called, or the candy league at this point. To your point, having some way where there's some additional micro element of competition, whether it be putting in guys that are particularly hot at the moment, or, something that you and I were texting about. I would like to see leaderboards with, particular types of collections, whether that's stacking a certain team, a certain player, or guys that have accumulated X amount of stats, things like that. I think leaderboards to get people jockeying for position could really add to the community and the element of competition. We all love the game of baseball. There's an element of competitive nature there. So I think that would be a nice add. And certainly the trading, I don't know how we don't have that yet. It's got to be here. We see it on other platforms, and it's, as somebody that's doing group breaks right now and having people talk in real time about what's getting pulled, there's guys that pull one thing that might be a fan of a different team. It's all part of that community, and it would be really nice to have that seamless interaction, and even being able to send offers and things like that. Still think we really need that.
About the idea of, I know we're on Discord right now. There's a Discord for candy. I know you have a personal Discord where you talk about candy on it, maybe among other things. What about like a chat within candy? I don't know if other sites have this, where you can put like, obviously we don't have it yet, but you can put like, hey, I have a Trout rare. What can you give me for it? What does someone want to trade me for it? Or something like that, where you can interact with other collectors, something. And then how you say, the opportunities are endless. Obviously, we're just talking about a couple, but there has to be competition. If you think about even as a business aspect for candy, how you get people involved or keep them entertained with it, it's competing, man. It's seeing your name on a leaderboard of some sort, or being able to jump up a leaderboard. Think about like when we were kids and you're going to play like Miss Pac-Man or Big Buck Hunter or whatever. You want to see your name on that stinking leaderboard.
Yep.
Something like that, where you can entice people to add to their collection, add certain things to their collection, change their collection. And, I know they've implemented some of that stuff, but I'm hoping to see more and more of it for sure.
Yeah, and I think Discord is a really good starting point for what you just said, and it's definitely a hub where people say, like, does somebody know who listed this, or who owns this, or does anybody have interest in that? But at the end of the day, Discord is always going to be a subset of the community at large. So there are always going to be people that don't know that exists or don't have the time to tap into that. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, if it's not on Candy's website, it's not going to be as effective as we need it to be. So I do think that being able to offer not only trades, but candy balance offers, or grouping, packaging different cards together all into one particular offer, selling a showcase as a whole, those are all things that seem like they should be on the horizon, but not stuff we've heard a whole lot about. So I hope that it moves in that direction, but we can put that to rest for now.
Yeah, we'll see.
So one other thing that you had texted me about in terms of something you wanted to talk about with collecting that I found interesting because you're a pitcher, is the pitcher versus hitter mentality when it comes to collecting. So was there something in particular that you wanted to speak on about that?
Well, I think as we were preparing for this, or I'm just, usually kind of picking your brain about candy and what's going on and what's coming up, and I look at my collection, it's like all position players. There's very few pitchers in there at all. And what's funny is this off season, my mom started handing, as parents do, hand me down the stuff now that I have my own house. They're like, get your crap out of my house. Here's some of your old, your fourth grade drawings that I've had for 30 years. And one of them was my baseball card collection. And I was going through it. No pitchers, not a single pitcher in there. So, it's just always been the way that I've collected. And thinking about it, it's funny, I'm right back into my routine of when I was 10 years old. If I had $5 for my allowance, or my mom gave me $5 to go into the baseball card store, I would go buy one card. I was never a bulk collector. I was never buying packs. I was never buying entire sets. I would go in and buy like one A-Rod, one Griffey, one Cal Ripken, one Frank Thomas. And that's exactly what my collection is. It's like, it's one binder. There's nothing else to it. It's like a page of Griffeys, flip it. Some Ichiros, flip it. Maybe two of A-Rods, flip it. And that's kind of what my candy collection looks like now. But it's all position players. And I think that's because I'm a fan of baseball. Same way that when you go to the marketplace, like I was looking at it yesterday, Jacob deGrom is like 75 cents, and almost every position player is like $2 or $3. And holding steady there, so it's I think you see him every day, and kind of like how I've been very lucky. I played in LA for a while. You meet some musicians, you meet some actors, they want to be us, and vice versa, we want to be them. And as a pitcher, I love to hit. I hate hitting, but I would love to be awesome at hitting,
yeah.
Right? And same way, Brandon Crawford throws a shutout inning the other day,
yeah.
and brags about how easy it is and how he's should have been doing it for 13 years.
That's so good.
Yeah, so I think it's some of that. It's just, I see Mike Trout 7 days a week. You see Clayton Kershaw once every 5 or 6 days. So I think there's just some of that makes them more fun to collect, and they're more of the face of the game. And that's what my collection looks like. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, it's been an interesting conversation all along, and it's a really unique thing. It's clearly just collector mentality, right? There's no real rhyme or reason to it. I think that maybe there's a little bit more risk baked into collecting a pitcher, because I think that there's I'm assuming this, but I would assume that it's a shorter lifespan to the career of a pitcher. It seems like it'd be easier to get hurt, just a more intense strain on your arm, and like you said, you're only seeing them 1/5 of the games compared to a hitter that's out there almost every day, some of them truly every day. So when it comes to people making decisions about who they're going to invest their money into, maybe those are some of the factors that go into it. I think it's also just that people love the long ball, right? So pitchers aren't hitting a home run. And at the end of the day, if you love baseball, I love a 1-0 pitcher's duel with a whole bunch of strikeouts. I think that's awesome. Just watching an entire lineup flail, both sides flail. I think that's great. But there's a lot of people that might not necessarily agree with that. And so I think that at large, you're going to get more people looking for guys that are going yard and kind of exploding in a given game, and just a little bit more exciting.
And more personality, right? Like, we know what Ronald Acuna and Fernando Tatis and Vladimir Guerrero, we kind of get a pretty good idea of what those guys are like. You see them more. They get to show some personality when they hit homers or whatever it is, versus pitchers. You don't see them as much, and we're pretty serious when we're on the mound. We're not showing a ton of personality. We're not doing anything flashy. Unless you're Trevor Bauer throwing up the sword, we just don't really do that kind of stuff. So I think it's easier to collect like the fun, like big personalities, big things that you see as a fan, versus a pitcher who's just kind of, like Kershaw couldn't be more straight-faced, more serious. It's not a whole lot of fun out there for him. It's just it's purely business, versus Acuna is doing something crazy and fun every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do like seeing that the personalities have started to creep onto the pitcher's mound a little bit over the last few years, and there were a whole lot of unwritten rules that are slowly getting erased over the last few years, and I think a lot of it is for the best. There have been times where it's gone a little too far depending on who you ask, but I think it's a move in the right direction. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a little bit easier to celebrate a big home run than it is to have like a particular spot where you're going to celebrate a strikeout or getting a guy out. It's just not the same order of magnitude.
Yeah, we saw Stroman do it. I think he threw a complete game shutout, and then maybe the next outing faced the Padres where he did like the Soto shuffle
yeah.
to Soto. And I mean, that was everywhere. That was on every account on Instagram and Twitter because you don't see it, right? So everyone was like, look at this, look what Stroman's doing, check it out. Because like you said, you don't see it. It is definitely breaking some rules that, have been around for 100 years. But he's one of our biggest personalities, and you got to respect him for it. He brings it every day. He's one of the biggest competitors we have. And, the other thing about that is as a pitcher, you do something like that, there's a really good chance that the next time might be a homer that you face that guy. And then you look even dumber, right? So it takes, frankly, it takes some cojones to do something like that in the face of a hitter, knowing that there's still maybe 2 or 3 more bats that night against him.
Yeah, I think maybe it's also a little bit of a part that it's kind of assumed that a batter is going to get out, and it's kind of assumed that a pitcher is going to get the batter out. So that balance of power definitely favors the assumption that the pitcher is going to win more often than not. So I think that probably plays into it a little bit as well.
Yep, spot on.
All right, I think that's a good conversation on that. What do you say we crack into our first pack here?
Let's do it. Bring it on.
All right. So we've got three of these 2023 rookie icon packs here. And what I'm thinking, so we're gonna break these just kind of like as buddies breaking packs, and we're gonna take half the cards each. Well, I'll have Candy transfer these over to you. So
cool.
Instead of randomizing the cereals, I don't know if you've seen any of the breaks, but basically what we'll do here is that one of us will take the odd cereals and one of us will take the even. So we won't necessarily get 5 and 5. So the one is the
scissor form.
Well, I think since we've got 3 packs, we'll each take the odd on one, and then the other one will take the odd on the other, because the one is technically the most desired, since if we do hit a 101, you want the odd numbers. And then on the third one, I'll hit you with a little trivia question, and then if you get that right, you'll take the one. If you get it wrong,
okay,
I'll take it. Fair?
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's pop. Oh, this one doesn't want to open. Let me go back. I've had this happen before. All right, good. We'll pick a new one if we have to. All right, first pack. Let's do it. Have you opened one of these yet? I know you bought a few.
I haven't.
The other day.
I bought 3 and I'm sitting on them. So the people listening at home probably don't know that's been a lot of my strategy so far, is buying packs, holding them, selling them, making a profit on just about all of them, I think, and then using the profits to buy individual cards that I actually like. So that's been my strategy this time too. I think last I looked, they were selling for like $120, so already up a little bit. I'm gonna see what the next couple of days look like.
Yep, up a little bit right now, right around 120. But all right, cool. Let's we opened a bunch of these the other night, 19 of them. Pulled a 101 and a bunch of epics. So hopefully we'll get some.
Who's
good
odds
stuff
on this one? You or me?
Well, I'll defer to you. Do you want odds on the first one or the second one?
You take it. You got odds on this one.
Okay. All right. I got odds on this one. You got odds on the second one.
All right.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah, same.
All right. We hit an epic. Good start.
Okay.
See
so what do you do? Do you like to open the...
I like to go with the cores first, but we also might have no, we didn't get an insert. The insert's usually tucked down here. So we'll go with the cores first, and we'll work our way up to the rarity. So odd cereals ending in odd numbers are mine, ending in even numbers are yours. All right?
Okay.
Cool.
Got it.
All right, first one, Anthony Volpe. That's you, 122. Yeah. Nice. Good start.
Faced him in his not in his debut, but in his debut series in New York. That place was popping for him.
Yeah, he's anytime you're in New York, it's gonna be
future of New York right there. Got both of them.
Yep. Yeah. So all right, Francisco Alvarez coming my way, 77. Yeah, stop me at any point if you want to talk. Oh, there we go, Bryce Harper. It's going.
Nice. I just bought one of his on the marketplace yesterday.
How crazy is what he's doing? I mean, coming back
It's
from Tommy John that quickly.
Yeah,
Something.
it's amazing. And honestly, I bet we see him in the outfield sooner than you think too. I think he's going to be the baseball version of Adrian Peterson when Adrian came back from that ACL and ran for like 2,000 yards. I think he's going to probably have like some crazy September and sneak into like MVP voting and all that. He's like our closest version to LeBron, man. Where like the hype has been from the start, and he's lived up to it in every way. It's impressive, man.
He really is. He really has. He's really been fun to watch, and yeah, it's to have him back on the field that quickly. He's something, man. He's something. It's
Yep.
crazy that he hasn't been an all-star with
It is crazy.
with the Phillies
Yeah.
yet. I think maybe he was
Was
voted
that me
all-star.
or
He
you?
hasn't played an all-star, but that is me. Odds. You gave me odds on this one. All right. Keep it rolling. 163 Noda. That's going to me.
So I was hoping we'd get him. I was traded for him. He was a player to be named later from the Blue Jays. When I went from the Dodgers to the Blue Jays, I got traded for like the second rounder high school kid for the for the Blue Jays, and a player to be named later. And like months later, that guy got thrown in, and didn't hear from him for like two and a half seasons, and then all of a sudden he's like I think maybe the best player in that lineup for the A's this year. So it's I was hoping he'd come up because I think that story's cool, and I think I think it's cool that I think he's raked everywhere he's been. He just needed someone to give him an opportunity, and it took the A's to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely off to a good start this year. They've got two exciting rookies in that lineup with Ruiz as well, leading the league in steals. And man, the other night was a unique thing. I don't know if you saw the scene in Oakland, but they had 27,000 strong coming out with a reverse boycott. I don't know if you want to touch that conversation, but I found that.
Yeah, it's funny. You asked me before if there's anything you don't want to talk about. I should probably avoid that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's a crazy thing going on over there. Oakland's had baseball for a long, long time. It would obviously be a shame to lose baseball in that town, especially now that I drive right by that area all the time, going to San Francisco to Oracle Park. So, we'll see how it shakes out, but it is a crazy thing going on.
Yeah, very crazy. Fans deserve better. I hope that it gets sorted out sooner rather than later. We'll keep it rolling. All right, second to last core here, Alec Burleson. It's going to you, number 166.
Nice.
And
Seen him twice already this year. He reminds me of Muncy. I think he's got like Muncy potential.
Very cool. Love the commentary. All right, last core. Corey Julks also going to you, Houston Astros.
Yep, I faced him and honestly didn't know anything about him. I thought that he was maybe like a lifer who finally debuted, and I knew had a good spring and like busted down the door to get a spot. So when I saw his name in these rookie packs, I was kind of surprised. And I'm probably just wrong, but that's who I thought that he was. So obviously off to a good start in his career.
Yeah. All right,
here we go.
We got some rarity here. Two uncommons, a rare, and an epic. Go right to left. Freddie Freeman, going to me, 67.
Oh man. I bought the very first stuff that Candy came out with. I think it was like an All-Star Game set that they came out with. Almost 2 years ago now.
Yep.
I have three from that. Four. I have a Real Muto, a Freddie, a Gosman, and a Garrett Cole. And I way overpaid for the Freddie. It's now worth like a third of what I paid for it. But it was like, I didn't know what Candy was. I didn't know what this was going to turn into. And I was like, I got to have a Freddie. And I bought it on the marketplace. And definitely jealous that you got that one. I like the orange too. I think that's a cool look.
Yeah, I like what they did with the uncommons here. And yeah, I think everybody that bought anything from that 2021 All-Star set back then, it's depreciated slightly. But yeah, Freddie is a fun one to collect. We talked about him a little bit last time. He's perpetually undervalued and perpetually one of the most dominant hitters in the league. I don't know why he's undervalued, but he's got like 1 million doubles already this year. He's crazy.
Like 340.
Yeah, he's stupid good. All right, last uncommon. Matt Wallner, Going to me as well. Number 33. Should have taken the odds, Strip. Should have taken the
I
odds.
know. Yeah, good. I don't know anything about this guy actually.
I don't know this one either. It's
All right.
off my radar. We'll keep it rolling. All right, rare. Miggy
Nice.
number 2 going to you. All right.
Let's go.
Paid
Cool.
off. That's a cool one. Nice load.
Sweet.
Number 2 digit. Miggy Cabrera. I think we all know who this guy is.
I just bought his on the marketplace too, just a core. I kind of went through and bought basically all the old timers. I bought like a Kershaw, Mookie, Miggy, who I bought like OGs.
Yeah,
So,
all from this set
already,
you're talking about.
Yeah, from the rookie set. So I proved that I wanted Miggy, and now I get a sweet one. That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that's a sharp card. I love the low serials. I don't know if that does anything for you, but I'm a sucker for it.
Big time.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, this is the big dog. This is big dog. We'll see who gets this one.
Do it.
Last one of the pack. Also, you nice number 4, Josh Young.
Nice.
I took
Is that
the
how you say it,
scraps.
Young? Do you say Young? I've been saying Young.
I've heard all the announcers say Josh Young. I've been watching a lot of
Okay.
Texas just because they're fun to watch these days. But I've been hearing Josh Young.
Fun fact: hit his first career homer off me last year.
Really?
Freaking skied a ball in Texas, and in his debut, second at bat. I mean, he hit it as hard as you could hit it, straight up in the air, probably 40-something degrees, and it got out like first row. So, cool moment for him.
Not
You
so
know what?
cool for you?
I've probably given up. I've given up a lot of first homers. It's kind of, it might be my thing. If I have a thing, that's probably it.
I don't know what just happened there.
Oh, you went early?
No,
The next one already?
No, I feel like this is I feel like it just reset the same pack because this is identical. That's weird. Should we find out?
Maybe open the first core and see if it matches.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
That's weird. I've never
Okay.
seen that before. Just
All
reset
right,
the whole
interesting.
thing. We'll just quick pop them all.
Yeah. I'll be losing my Miggy and my.
No, you're getting your
Young,
Miggy
young.
and your. It does look it, especially with the 2 J's. It makes it real easy to want it to be Josh Jung. But all right, nice pack for you there. We it looked
Cool.
like it was going to be my pack, but in the end, it was your pack
Yeah.
for sure. Okay.
Sweet.
All right, let's jump back over here. So since we're on the kind of topic of rookies here, I thought it would be cool, and you agreed, that we talk a little bit about your rookie season. I was looking up your stats. You debuted in 2016. You started 14 games across 22 appearances, 100 innings. You went 5-9 with 74 Ks, a 3.96 ERA, and a 1.26 WHIP. So those are the numbers. But what stands out the most to you? And I guess this could maybe be 2 questions, or it could be all one and the same. But what's something that the average fan might not really appreciate or recognize about the difficulties of being a rookie? Like, what is that process like? What comes to mind when you think about your rookie season?
You know what? I think I was a rookie right when times really changed as far as I would say like the generation of veterans of the time before to like the veterans that I had. I think when you were a rookie in baseball for the first 100 years, it was rough. I think it was very hierarchied, as in I think there was a point where I know there was a point where rookies basically weren't allowed in the training room, where it was very structured of when, if ever, they were allowed to go get treatment. I think they were demoralized in a lot of ways, like really, just kind of hammered by veterans. And you hear horror story after horror story. And somewhere along the lines, thankfully, and for the good, that kind of finished. And that stuff's kind of done. And so I was treated very well as a rookie because, for one, it's the Dodgers. They expected to win. So to come in and treat your rookies like crap when they are expected to help you win and to win a trophy, I never thought that made any sense. And I think you're starting to see that the 3 organizations that I've been a part of, and I feel like across baseball, that's the way it is now. There's no point in making those guys feel uncomfortable, feel like they don't belong, to ostracize them in any way. It just doesn't make sense. They are up there to help you win. I mean, look at who we have. Both our catchers are rookies right now. And one of our starting infielders, Casey Schmidt, is a rookie. Those guys are making massive impacts on a team, on our Giants team that is we're third in the standings. We're doing everything we can to stay consistent and stay in the standings. we need those guys. So, anyways, long-winded way to say I remember being treated really well. I had to come up and sing on the bus. I had to carry the beer bag on the plane. I had to do some funny things. I did a fashion show with some of the other rookies. I dressed as a cheerleader. We did things all in good fun, but no one ever made me feel like I didn't belong. No one ever made me feel like I didn't deserve to be there or anything like that. And then as far as the baseball, there's usually two things. You have the Walker Buellers who show up and they know they belong there. They know that they were born to pitch at that level and they can get outs and they just know it in their blood. I'm here and this is where my reign starts. Confidence out the butt. And then you have guys like me that are like, I have no business being here. I gotta have to pull out every trick I have to get even the 9 hole out, to get the pitcher out. So and you just kind of trial by fire, learn as you go, and get confidence as you get guys out and as you mature and as you get. I think I'm better now than I have ever been, just from the reps that I've had at the big league level. So as a rookie, I look back at what I was doing and what I looked like and my mechanics and all this stuff, and you're like, how did I even get here? And it's just a whirlwind, man. So long-winded way to say I'm lucky that I debuted when I did on the team that I did, and I've only missed the playoffs one time, and it was by one game, and I don't expect to miss it this year. So I've been very fortunate.
That's awesome. Would you say that there was anything in particular that helped you kind of remove yourself from that imposter syndrome? I think that's something that everybody deals with across, something that's relatable to all different parts of life. But was there anything in particular, maybe a teammate or a coach or just a process that you went through that helped you progress out of that mindset and into being a pro?
Yeah, great question. I think it's a mixture of things. I was very lucky to be on a team with Clayton Kershaw. I think I've been very open about saying I don't think I would have survived without him. And he did not necessarily take me under his wing. That's not how he leads. He is not a vocal leader. But just by osmosis of being around him and watching how he goes about his work, how he prepares, what he does between starts, how he competes when he starts, man, that just rubs off on you. And the other thing you see is he is not traditionally dominant like he once was. His stuff is not analytically nasty. He doesn't throw 95 plus. He is actually extremely predictable in how he's going to sequence hitters, and he just outcompetes you and he beats you. And that rubs off on you too, because I'm a little bit of the same. I am like anything, any count, nothing's sexy, nothing's gonna, I don't get a ton of swing and miss. I get a lot of soft contact, and you learn stuff like that from him and just watching how he does it and how he competes. And then I had some awesome coaches, man. Rick Honeycutt, pitching coach, one of the best that ever did it. Just instills confidence in you when you're throwing bullpens in the middle of outings, of just saying, this is what we're going to do to this guy. You have the weapons to get him out. You're going to go do it, and just getting you confident before an outing even starts. And then what I kind of already touched on is just reps, man. You just got to log reps and get guys out at this level and figure out how your arsenal works. And you also got to struggle. You got to get your ass kicked every now and then. This game humbles you even when you're at your highest, and come back stronger because of it. So I think it's just a mixture of all those things. Very
cool insight. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Kind of, on a similar subject. Well, actually, you know what? Before I tap into this, is there any particular rookie or rookies that has either your attention or the league's attention? I'm always curious about the gap between what fans perceive and what players perceive. And there's the headlines of particular players, Corbin, Carroll, Jordan Walker, those names are everywhere. Is there anybody that is maybe under the radar that stands out to you, or that guys are talking about in the league? Or is it kind of the same names that we as fans are seeing and observing as well?
It's typically going to be the same. As we open some of these packs, there might be some guys that stick out that I can point to as we get there. You just touched on the one that we probably talk about the most, especially since he's in our division, is Corbin Carroll. You're talking about a guy that I think's in the top couple of OPS, but is also like 11 for 11 of his last attempts in stolen bases. So when you talk about a complete player, like a five-tool player, a lot of people go to like a Julio Rodriguez because he's tall, he's got the power. Corbin Carroll, it's like the Diamondbacks saw him and just pressed like copy, paste, and came out with like this crazy athletic team. You can look at the Orioles and you look at the Diamondbacks a little bit of like where baseball's probably headed, which is those 2000, what, like 12, 13, 14, 15 Royals, where you had juice, but you had a lot of speed, very dynamic. I think we're on a major league pace to maybe set the stolen base record. So
I'm sure.
you're talking about rule changes earlier. Like, we're already cruising. Those have already made a huge effect. But you're talking about a pitcher facing Corbin Carroll. He can pump you. He can bunt on you. If you walk him, there's a good chance he ends up on third a couple pitches later because of how dynamic his speed is. That lineup can bunt. That lineup plays small ball. That lineup can hit it over the fence. So it just, he's kind of like almost like a look into the future. I feel like of where teams are going to try and develop guys, and obviously he might be a superstar talent. Like, that kind of speed and power and everything doesn't come along all the time, but I've been very impressed by what I've seen so far.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. He, like you said, he's got all the tools, and it is a really fun brand of baseball to watch. And I think that the new players that are coming up are more like that, and I think that the rule changes really lean into that as well. We're seeing more athletic plays on defense because of the shift ban. We're seeing, like you said, I'm sure that we're on a record pace with steals. So it's just, the games are shorter, but we're getting more baseball, as the way that I see it. And I think that that's really cool. So, yeah.
Exactly what we wanted. I was
Yeah.
the union rep for the Blue Jays when all this stuff went down, and that's what we heard from fans, from MLB, that we needed, and we're getting it. So I think that it has worked, and it's made an instant impact in the games and how people watch it at home and at the stadium. I think it's made a better product.
For sure. Yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit more in the next segment. But before we do our second pack, I wanted to stay on the subject of kind of just the human experience and the human element of being a professional baseball player, because it's something that I've appreciated as I've gotten older. When you're a kid, it looks like this guy is a baseball player, and that is what he is, and that's it. He doesn't have a family. He doesn't have emotions. He just has a glove and a baseball, and that's what he does. And then as you get older, you realize that these are just human beings that are really athletic. And so something that you and I were texting a little bit about was, looking at a guy like Jacob deGrom, who, for anybody that saw his interview when he found out that he was done for the season, just is heartbreaking, right? You see a guy that just wants to be out there competing with his team. It's what we love about the game. Goes on the IL. You have had a tough start to your season. You're on the IL right now. I'm sure it goes without saying that you haven't had the start that you were looking for in San Francisco either. So you had brought up this as something that you wanted to talk about, and I think that it's a really cool conversation of, what is it like? You've moved beyond being a rookie. You're out of that section of your career, but you've been on 3 teams now. You know what it's like to show up in a new ballpark, in a new clubhouse. What's it like having early struggles like that, ending up on the IL? How do you work through that, and what is that experience like that people don't necessarily understand?
Yeah, great question, man. If we could spend the entire time we've talked so far just on this, so we'll try and keep it as brief as we can. Everyone's different. Everyone does it in different ways. Some people rely on maybe their dad or an old coach or their wife or someone that they confide in. I think that's very important. A mental strength coach. Every organization has one at the minor league and big league level. Talk to people like that. Get it out, man. I think that's a huge thing to just. And we have the weight on our shoulders of, even when we're healthy and pitching well and things are going fine, you still have all the weight on your shoulders. So now multiply that exponentially when you're on a new team and you're struggling. And what I've said a few times is, I've pitched in the big leagues this is my 8th year. I have nothing to prove. I really don't, and I believe that, but I feel like I have so much to prove. And that's such a weird emotion to feel. Like, I came over to a team that still has players that saw me when I was a Dodger, coaches in front office, people that have seen me pitch for 7+ years. They know what I am, they know what I've done, but all I feel is a need to prove it to them that I am who I am, that I can do it, that I can still do it. So that just kind of compounds on you when you struggle. And the worst feeling as a pitcher, I can't speak as a hitter, but the worst feeling as a pitcher is the feeling of the next one has to be a good one. this next one has to be a good one. I don't even want to think about what it's going to be if it's a bad one. Am I going to move to the bullpen? Am I going to get put on the Phantom IL? It has to be a good one. That is a horror. For 4 or 5 days, you're sitting in the dugout, you're playing catch, everything you're thinking about is like, man, I got the Dodgers again in 4 days. How's that going to go? Like, it has to be a good one. What am I going to do to JD? What am I going to do to Freddie? What am I going to do to Mookie? And it's easy to spiral. And then on top of that, I got a newborn at home. So I'm going home and I'm not sleeping. I got a wife that's stressed out, as she should be, because we also have a 2-year-old. And all the moving parts of a family, moving them to San Francisco, a new team. She's trying to make friends. I'm making friends. We're both trying to prove ourselves to new people. And yeah, man, I'm certainly not asking for anyone's sympathy. They go through it in their own lives. But like you said, I think it's important to point out that we are humans. We have the same emotions that everyone else struggles with and battles, and ours is often on a much bigger platform. So appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about it. But at the end of the day, I'm doing great, and I'm very happy about where I am. I can do better, and I can be better, and the stresses of that certainly weigh on you.
Yeah, it's a really interesting conversation, and I think that people appreciate that insight into. I hope that they do. I hope that they gain just a little bit more perspective on the fact that, man, it's a demanding task to go out there and do what you guys are doing, and then your body lets you down for a second, or something comes up in life and you're expected to have everything just be the same. So yeah, appreciate you taking the time to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So let's jump into another pack, and then we're gonna touch on some of the stuff you just talked about, which is, we'll talk about the NL West for sure. Super interesting division that you're in. Giants are in right in contention, and they need you coming back. You need some help in that rotation. So we'll do that in a second, but let's do our second pack here first.
Do it. So I'm odds on this one.
You are, yeah, your odds. And here we go.
Give me a 1.
All right, all right. There's your nice stuff so far. Those
Beautiful.
Kicked out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is this one gonna work, or is this one bugged still? No, there we go. Okay. All right. Pack number 2. You are odds this time. I am evens, which means that the 1 of 1 is coming in this pack for you this time, which is fine because I hit mine the other night. All right.
Have yet to see it, even with Romano buying thousands of packs. I've never seen a 1 of 1 get ripped. So
that's wild.
Let's do it.
I've pulled a couple. I watched David pull one last year. It's a pretty wild thing to see that gem pop up. So let's see if we get lucky here. Nah, tough pack. No epic.
All right.
Let's see if we got the insert.
The inserts are interesting to me. I've only seen 2 on the marketplace. I saw a Bo and a Devers maybe, so I haven't even seen any of the others. Does that just mean they're either not listed or haven't been pulled yet?
They are out there actually. There's about 10 of them, and they broke it into 3 categories. There's the past, the present, and the future. And so the present ones are all in the City Connect jerseys. The future are these cool slow-mo clips, and then the past ones are a retro baseball card look. So they're all slightly different take, but they're all pretty cool. Hopefully we hit one on the last pack. So let's we'll do the course here first again. So your odds, I'm evens.
Okay.
All right, Zach Nito, going to you, number 27.
Just a crazy story. Drafted last year, already in the big leagues. That kind of stuff. I could see pitchers. Like, I think I've seen college pitchers that could pitch in the big leagues. I mean, look, the kid throwing 104 out of Tennessee that's already in their Angels bullpen too. Mm-hmm. But for a position player to come up that quickly, that's always mind-blowing.
Impressive. All right, core number 2.
I think he just got hurt too, which is a bummer.
I didn't see that. All right, here we go. Corbin Carroll, there we go. Going to you as well. 133. Nice. All right, this is tracking well. You take all the low end stuff on this one. I'll take the 2 rares up top. Josh Young going to me.
All right.
Drew Waters going to me. I know the name, don't know him too well.
Same. I don't know him.
Last core, Oscar Colas going to you, number 189.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
Not much commentary from me on that one either.
3 uncommons. First one, Volpe, going to you, 59.
Nice.
Now you got a core and an uncommon Volpe.
Cool. You know what? That I guess has the 2022 icons been the only burn that we've seen as far as being able to like combine cards to burn to a higher.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, the Titan Challenge is still the only thing like that, and that was very much a kind of a reactionary,
Yeah.
moving things up into a highest tier with the mint counts being a little too high. This is
Right.
what we're seeing here is the right mint counts now, right? The cores are out of 200 instead of out of 3,000. The uncommons are out of 100, which the epics in that leadoff series were out of 250. So for the uncommons to be out of 100 is we've moved into the direction of what the user base is now. So
sometimes you gotta trial and error a little bit.
hey, as long as they keep adjusting, right? It's better than not doing anything. All right, 2 more uncommons. Verlander going to me, 18.
Nice.
Cool card. And Miggy going to you. You got a rare and uncommon Miggy now.
All right, and a core. I bought a core, so I
There you
got
go.
almost the whole thing here.
You got to go grab an epic now, round out the rainbow.
Yeah, I'm about to get it right here.
All right, here we go. Two rares. Kershaw.
Oh, nice.
And that's
2.
me, right?
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh, I guess we're
I
gonna
might
have
trade you for that one.
we're gonna have to do a little trade. We'll have to do a little
trade.
trade. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
What's the highlight? I missed it. Probably him punching out someone on a
Yeah,
slider.
probably a punch out. Let's see. It'll flip again here. Yep.
Oh, it's a hammer. His curveball, man, I want him to throw 10% more curveballs than he does, but he just is so successful with fastball slider to his glove side. It's like, why even throw the curveball? So when he throws it, the guys just look so dumb on it. It's amazing.
Yeah. To your point, there's something just really impressive about a guy that doesn't have to blow you away with 99 and can just movement and location. It's a fun thing to watch if you enjoy the game of baseball. All right, we'll have to come up with a trade on that one.
Okay.
All right, last one of this pack. Hayden Wesneski going to me as well. So we traded spots here. I took the 2 rare ones on this one.
Yeah, literally. The exact opposite of last time.
Yeah.
Or I guess kind of the exact same in a way. So I just watched him pitch. I didn't know much about him. He just faced the Giants. We hit him around a little bit, but you could tell he's got a good feel for what he's doing. I definitely buy some stock in him and feel good about his future.
Yeah, I've read some good
some
things about him as a prospect. I know he's had a tough start to the year, but he's supposed to be a pretty good pitcher. So hopefully he works that out.
Cubs team, man, is like, I thought they would be. They got off to a good start and have scuffled. But like, if you were to maybe ask me like who could be the next Orioles or the next Diamondbacks, I'd probably pick the Cubs. It seems like they developed really well. They've gotten a couple good free agents. It seems like they're right on the cusp. You know, let's say they're not in it. They could trade, I don't know, Mancini and Belly for some prospects or some people that are younger and big league ready, and like they're right there. Like a couple good moves from being, and that's a winnable division. I mean, my gosh, the Cardinals are like 14 games under 500. They're only like 6 games out.
Yeah, Pirates still leading that division right now, surprisingly.
Yeah,
one of the stories of the MLB. All right. So, before we jump into our last pack, let's talk a little bit about the MLB. Let's start with the NL West, your division. We've talked a little bit about the Diamondbacks already. Corbin, Carroll off to a crazy start. Christian Walker having a nice year. Ketel Marte having a nice year. So Diamondbacks, the surprise first place in that division. Here, I'll pull up the standings real quick here. I know it'll be tough for you to see, but people will be able to see it when they're watching. So right now, Diamondbacks in first at 41-28. You guys are 4.5 games back and currently on a 7-3 over your last 10. Padres also on a 7-3 over their last 10. They've kind of been off to a surprising slow start. Obviously, a ton of star power, a ton of money that's been pumped into that team that historically was not a team that had a ton of money pumped into it. And then, of course, the Dodgers right in the thick of it. lost a little bit of their star power, but still so much remaining. So what's your take on this as someone in this division? What are your observations so far in your own division?
The take is it's going to be a fun trade deadline in that division. You're going to have 4 teams buying for sure, not a lot of teams selling, so competing against each other. It seems like the Padres are clicking. As a guy that came into 2016 Dodgers that we touched on, that team had A-listers everywhere. Matt Kemp, Carl Crawford, Adrian Gonzalez, 14, 15, 16, like, so Zach Greinke was on those teams. At one point we had like 4 closers in our bullpen. It takes a while to mesh. It takes a while when you have big personalities like that to mesh and to get going. And I think you're probably starting to see that. Juan Soto wasn't going to hit 190. Machado was going to get it going. You just knew that that team was going to click at some point. My buddy Michael Wacha was just pitcher of the month. He's doing great. Left your Red Sox. I don't know why they let him go. I'll never get that. So overall, what I'm seeing is a competitive division down to the stretch. I think, because I think we're going to be in it. I really do. I think the Giants, of all the teams, probably everyone would expect to fall off of the 4. I don't think we're going to. I think that we have a lot of depth. We've proven that. We've had guys get hurt one after another. We've really never had our entire lineup healthy. We just lost Mitch Haniger to a broken forearm for probably 2 months, maybe more. But we've had one guy come up after another and have success, and we're about to get healthy with me and Alex Wood hopefully coming back and starting and taking some pressure off our bullpen, which have had some bullpen games over the last week or two. And then the Diamondbacks aren't going anywhere either, man. I really believe that. They're on a 100-win pace. They got some great starters, though that lineup is dynamic, as we've talked about. And then the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Weird offseason. Really didn't do anything besides go get a JD Martinez. It seems like they're setting up a Shohei Ohtani run.
A JD Martinez who remembered how to hit again. It's so painful to be a Red Sox fan right now, man. It's so painful.
So it's going to be a fun division to watch. Everyone talking AL East, rightfully so. That whole division is a juggernaut, but NL West has four really solid teams as well.
Yeah. Speaking of the AL East, why don't we jump into that one next? I'll pull that one up as well here. Like you said, absolute juggernaut. I mean, at any given point, the AL East is perfectly in alignment with being the top 5 teams above the AL Central. Right now, the Twins have one more win than the Red Sox. But again, the 34 and 35 Red Sox that would be super competitive in pretty much any other division are sitting down there at the bottom. And when we were texting, something that you had said was, the Orioles are legit. And I think that is the biggest storyline in this division, although it's tough to argue that it's not the Tampa Bay Rays being 50 and 22 with a 142 run differential. But, the Rays have been good for the last few years. And yes, 50 and 22 is insane, but we were expecting them to compete and be atop that division, or at least make a run at it. But yeah, the Orioles are a real good team. They've got arguably the best closer in baseball. They've got Adley, they've got Gunnar. They've got a really well-rounded team. So again, a similar kind of thread of that audit between what fans are perceiving and what players are perceiving. What's the sentiment around the league when it comes to the AL East and just seeing a division that's as stacked as it is right now?
Does that say 31-7 home record for the Rays?
It does indeed.
Oh man, that's outside of the Rockies, they have the craziest home field advantage. The Trop is just where baseball goes to die, and no one can see there except them. And 31-7 is insane. What I'm seeing from Baltimore is, I think, what the division saw last year, which is, these guys are real, they're going to be a problem. And this year, the rest of the league is seeing that. For one, we get to play everyone now. But I just think last year there was probably a lot of like, they're just, they're still not quite there. They're just having a good season. They piece some good things together. No, they're real. Like, they do what the Diamondbacks do and what we've already touched on. They steal bases. They slug. They pitch. The back end of the bullpen is disgusting. and they play unbelievable defense. I think they have multiple Gold Glove winners and potential Gold Glove winners. I talked to them a little bit in free agency this offseason. They love their team. They love the guys they have coming up from AAA. They love Adley Rushman, rightfully so. And as far as the division, it's like talking about just the ends of the spectrum, right? Which is the AL East and then the AL Central, where the Red Sox in the AL Central might be 15 games above 500, but they're in the AL East and they're clawing to stay alive. So it just, it's cool to have a juggernaut division like that. I think it is, where they just beat up on each other. And it's cool that I pitched there for 3 years and got to experience it, because I do think I might even said this on the show last time. I think it's almost like a different level of baseball. It's like the AL East and everyone else, because you almost can't afford to have a bad week. If you have a bad week, you see yourself down in the cellar there where the Red Sox are, because it's pretty rare that the other teams have a bad week. So it just you can't take a night off, man. It's day in and day out grind, just heavyweight fight.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan of the Red Sox, I definitely feel that, where we have a bad week and it's like that is not going to bode well for just the season long outlook, right? It just has such a big impact when you've got all these teams that just never seem to take their foot off the gas. So on one side, it's frustrating to be the fifth team in that division as a fan, but at the same time, I do have an appreciation for the caliber of baseball I get to watch just on a regular basis. And, I'm somebody that watches a whole lot of baseball across divisions, but I'm watching a lot of Red Sox, of course, and being able to watch the Blue Jays and the Orioles and the Yankees. And, it's a fun division to watch, and it's really good baseball. So hopefully the Sox can figure it out and maybe go grab some starting pitching next year. Who knows?
Yeah, I think they will. I think that lineup is still so good. That's the thing from the last couple of years, is like that lineup is not fun to face, and
No.
they still have great pieces. But like Chris Sale going down, you lose Eovaldi and Walker, both having monstrous years. I feel like you could have brought them back. There's some what ifs on that Red Sox team for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir right now, for sure. I mean, fun to watch Yoshida, right? Rookie, technically, MLB rookie, and it's been really fun to watch him. He's a good ball player.
Why isn't he in these packs?
He is. We just haven't hit one yet. He is in these
Okay.
packs. Yeah, for the Red
Gotcha.
Sox, it's Casas, Yoshida, and then a throwback Mookie Betts, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, let me hit you with one more question here before we jump into the last pack, which is something we teased a little bit earlier, but it's rule changes. We have seen a drastically modified MLB, not only this year with limited disengagements, bigger bases, pitch clock, but we have the universal DH now. We've got the ghost runner that truly has been solidified for extra innings, and even the changes to the playoff format. So what's your opinion? What's the opinion of players at large? What's the conversation around this very new, especially this year, this very new form of baseball that we're seeing?
I think it's all positive. I really do. I mean, I think that the pitch clock has shown its head at a couple goofy times, but for the most part, it's been extremely effective. Craig Kimbrell had 3 in the ninth today and still got the save, which is kind of crazy. 3 pitch, whatever they're called. I don't know why I can't time.
Yeah,
penalties,
pitch
whatever
clock
they're called.
violation.
Yeah, pitch clock violation. But in the dugout, on the field, every conversation I have seems to be positive. The only negative thing we say is we have not necessarily seen numbers of viewers, right? Like, are we getting more butts and seats? Are we getting more viewers at home? Because at the end of the day, that is, essentially you see our salaries rising. That's because the TV deals have gotten huge over the last couple of years. We need people to be watching at home, and are these rule changes that's a big reason why we did some of these rule changes, right? We want people to be interested in baseball. We understand that young people aren't sitting and watching 4-hour baseball games. They want to be entertained. So I think we've given them that product. Now, are more people watching? I don't know. You might know. I haven't seen. Maybe they haven't even put numbers out. But the only negative thing you'll hear from us is what's next. If we made all these changes, the game has changed so much in just the last calendar year, and we don't get more viewers, we don't get more people coming to games. What could possibly be next? What does the game look like 2, 3, 5 years from now? So, just to talk about what we've done this year, I think it's made baseball very exciting. Batting average is up, stolen bases are up, the pitch clock has drastically changed the pace of the game. We did everything that we hoped to do with the rule changes. So I don't know, as a viewer and as a fan, what do you think?
I at first, so going into it, I thought it was a good thing. I didn't necessarily think that it was something that I needed as a fan because I didn't have a problem with a 3.5 hour game. But I've also been to Fenway for extra inning games that all of a sudden are 5 hours long, and nobody wants to be at a 5 hour game in the regular season. You just don't. So, but now that I've gotten a couple months into it, what I've realized is what I said earlier, is that I just like the product better. I like, for one, I was a huge fan of the ban of the shift. I was all for. Get rid of the shift, more defensive plays, more hitting. It just makes everybody, it's just better baseball, right? Putting everybody on one side of the field and having it be an automatic out for any given number of types of hits just wasn't that exciting. So I'm loving seeing the diving plays in the infield. And I'm also just watching more baseball because of the shorter games. I'm able to watch some of the West Coast games that I would never have previously stayed up as late as I would need to see Ohtani play or something like that. So it feels more manageable even just to watch a 6:45 Red Sox game, knowing that it's going to be, shortly after 9 o'clock, it's going to be done. And it's not going all the way into my whole evening. So I've liked it. I've thought it's been a positive. And I don't know what the numbers are. I haven't looked at it in terms of viewing, but to me, it feels like something that's one step at a time, where it's going to be a culture shift around the general discussion of baseball when it comes to fans, right? It's someone like me that is talking to somebody that doesn't necessarily watch as much baseball, where I say what my opinion is of it and, give it a shot. Go, watch a game, see, because it does feel different. It feels very different. I'm getting used to it now, but to start the year, it was like, wow, these games are fast. You can't look away. You don't have this time in between pitches to go grab a snack or go to the bat. Like, the game keeps moving, and that is a good thing. I enjoy watching that. So shorter game, more baseball. It's good for me.
As a viewer, it's I've been able to watch a few games. It's funny where someone, like, let's say someone hits a home run, and they don't even have enough time to show the replay because, like, the next at bat's already going, and it'll be like 2 or 3 at bats later where they finally have like a 10-second break where they can show the homer, and I'll be sitting there like, show the homer, like, what did he hit? I didn't catch it or whatever. I just saw him rounding the bases. I have to watch like 2 more bats before they just show me the homer.
Yeah, there have definitely been spots where maybe a little bit of common sense could come into play. We've watched Harper way too many times on first base not be able to get his brace on. Like, you'd think that could get baked into it, a player's safety and his equipment and something like that. Watching Kenley Jansen just implode in the 9th inning against St. Louis a few weeks ago because Contreras was doing some gamesmanship and not stepping in until right at 8 seconds, and Kenley wasn't allowed to go into the set before he got the attention of the hitter. So things like that, like penalizing Jansen for being ready, just seems like it goes against what the whole point of the essence of these rule changes are. But again, I think we'll work through these things. I think that the pitch clock violations will all but go away by the end of this season, next season. Like, it's just going to be so woven into the fabric of the game that the little things that kind of suck to have happen right now will just decrease. And I think the big test will be, how many times do we get frustrated during the playoffs, right? Those are the games that we don't want to have impacted by stuff like this. And one side of the equation, you could say, well, why not just get rid of it for the playoffs? But you're operating in one set of rules for 162 games. You can't just flip that off and play an entirely different sport. So it'll be interesting to see what the playoffs look like. I hope that everybody's adjusted enough at that point that it doesn't have a big impact on a game that that we wish it hadn't happened.
Yep, I agree, and I think that we will be used to it, where hopefully it doesn't show his head. You know, where you might see something like that is like, let's say a young reliever gets called up in September, gets a couple outings, and a team decides he's good enough to be on the postseason roster, and now he's pitching in cold weather and 50,000 people on the road, and the game can speed up on, there's a chance something goofy could happen. But even those guys are doing it in AAA, so they should be as used to it as they can. So I'm with you. I hope it doesn't show his head at a bad time, because I think it's been good for the game. So the narrative around that would be it's ruining the game,
Exactly.
and that's not the case. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen on the big stage. Cool. All right, let's do one more pack, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Oh, so I got my trivia question for you. I'm gonna hit you with a little Giants trivia. So,
Oh gosh.
there have been 101 splash hits into McCovey Cove in the history of that stadium, and as you may assume, Barry Bonds is the all-time leader of such splash hits. So I'm gonna set the over/under, and you're gonna tell me where he stands out of the 101 that have happened all time. So
Like how many of them he hit?
yeah, so you don't have to guess. I'm just going to give you an over/under. You get a 50-50. All right, so
Okay.
101 all time, over/under 39. Barry Bonds, how many is he over/under?
Gosh, 39 seems high. I should know this because I feel like it's been talked about so much. 39 feels like a lot. I'm gonna take the under.
You're right, 35. He's got 35 of them.
35.
35
Right.
of the 101 all time. I thought that was pretty wild, man. There's a lot of names on
That is
that
wild.
list, but he dominates it.
Yeah,
Pretty
as he
cool.
should. That is wild. To think of how many homers he hit in that stadium, put him in like any other stadium, he might have hit 1,000 homers. I mean, he hit some into like Triples Alley that I think I've seen like one homer there all year. So I bet he hit another 100 plus just in Oracle that didn't get out, that were out in other stadiums or whatever.
He was an absolute beast. Absolute beast. Fun to watch. All right. So you got the odds. If we hit a Lego,
All right.
it's yours.
Let's go.
I got the evens. Last pack of the night. Let's do it.
Show it to me. All right.
All right. Not a
Chase
bad.
continues for me. One day I'll see it.
Got the epic though, and we got an insert. All right.
Cool.
That's the
We open
insert.
it last, or you want to open it first?
We'll open it along with the epic at the end. So we'll
cool.
stick with the cores for now. All right. So you got the odds. First one, Frankie Lindor, 120, going to me.
I saw his, and like I told you, I bought a lot of the OGs, some of the older guys. I didn't buy his. I just when he was in Cleveland, I just never saw him. So I don't have like a ton of. I bet I've only pitched to him maybe 4 at bats in my career. So compared to some of the other guys who I've just faced and seen so much more.
Just don't have the same history.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. All right, next core. Freddie Freeman, 114, going to me as well.
All right, setting up like last time.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Bring on the rare ones.
Joey Weimer, going to you, number 29.
Okay.
Milwaukee.
Man, this dude does everything different than everyone else. I don't know how much you've watched him.
I've watched him a little bit.
That swing is, I've never seen anything like it. Obviously, it's working. He's turned it on as of late. You can tell he is athletic and powerful as hell, but unorthodox. And it'll be interesting to see if he holds on to that or if he tailors it down to what the other hundreds and hundreds of hitters look like in the big leagues.
Unorthodox is something that you can appreciate a little bit, though, right? You've got the highest release point of any MLB pitcher, don't you?
True, but when you talk about pitchers, you usually want unicorns. There's
True.
not too many unicorns in hitting. And honestly, it doesn't matter. As long as your barrel ends up going through the zone, a lot of times they don't care how you get there. So I'm sure he does it and gets to the same positions as other guys. It's just the setup and some of the other stuff is as funky as I've seen.
I'm going to have to go watch him closer now and take a look. I know that he's unique, but now I'm further intrigued. All right, 3 more cores here. Bryce Harper going to me, number 14. Nice low number there. It's a cool one. Will Brennan, 137, going to you. He's having a
seen him
nice
a little
start.
bit. Don't know a ton about him. That Cleveland team is crazy. You know, they have a younger roster than a lot of AAA rosters, and they've already called up a couple more rookies this year. I know they're struggling offensively, but you can tell this kid's got some potential.
Yeah, they need J-Ram to get going. He's had some big games over the last week or so, but just isn't off to the type of season we're used to seeing him have yet.
Yep.
All right, last core. Ryan Pepio. That's who I hit the legendary of the other night.
Okay, nice. I didn't know if you had announced that or not.
Yeah. So that was on the end of a live stream. So it was just one pack I decided to open. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's a name I had heard for a long time. Even when they drafted him and got him, that changeup and they just knew he was going to develop into something pretty solid, which he has. Needs to stay healthy and show it at the big league level, but I am never doubting a Dodger pitcher, especially a Dodger pitcher that they covet. Those guys usually pan out. Yeah.
Hurt right now, had some setbacks. Hopefully going to be back after the All-Star break. But yeah, I did a little reading on him once I pulled that card, and
yeah, I bet.
At a minimum needed to understand how to pronounce his name, which is Pepio. So
yeah, Pepio.
All right, here we go. A little rarity here. All right, another Miggy for you. What's that?
That's
3?
Me?
Is that 3 Miggies now?
Just hoarding them.
Yeah. Number 63, Miguel Cabrera, uncommon.
Going to be a part of my package for Kershaw for you. At least one of those.
Yep. All right, here we go. All right, another one going to you, Grayson Rodriguez. This is a good one. Nice. Number 37.
Yep. I've been able to watch him a little bit. It's impressive, man. The off speed and command and I just feel like he'll click as he goes for sure. It's still pretty green, pretty raw, but you can like see the potential there is extreme.
I haven't gotten the chance to watch him yet, actually. As much hype as he's had, haven't seen one of his starts yet, so I'm gonna have to make that happen. All right, last two icons of the night, rare then epic. Actually, no, I forgot. We got this down here, so we'll go rare first, then we'll go the insert. Scherzer even goes to me, number 10. Max Scherzer, rare.
Nice. So that's do you like 10 or you want 9 or below?
I want single digit, but I also like the clean, like 10, 20, 30, 40, like just anything like that. Just little OCD. Just looks cleaner.
And jersey number is still good, right?
Oh yeah, jersey number is right up there with number 1 and perfect.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, we'll go insert and then we'll go epic. The inserts are the same out of 50 as the rares. Wander Franco going to me as well with the even number 16. That's cool.
Nice. That is cool. Yeah, I tell you what, I was impressed by him. I know last year I don't think his numbers were maybe as good as people expected or even he expected, but it seems like this year he's showing it. I get asked about him a lot because he gets spoken in the same conversation as Vladdy and J-Rod and Acuna a little bit, and I feel like people maybe don't know as much about him, or maybe he's not quite as flashy. I know he did like the little flip and then the throw to first. That was a new one that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
But he's impressive, man. Really good bat-to-ball skills, not going to punch out a lot. Maybe not as much juice as some of those other guys in his echelon, but this is dynamic speed-wise, and then obviously plays the coveted position of shortstop. So I think as bright a future as anybody for him.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching him. He seems to just be able to do it all. And feel free to throw this question in the pile of things we're not going to talk about. But we touched on hitting celebrations. We touched on pitching celebrations. What was your take on the little flip to himself at shortstop? What did the league think about that?
I think that it's just so unnecessary, right? Like you're talking about just adding risk to a really hard game. Like why are we doing that? It's cool to bat flip and do all that kind of stuff because it has pretty much no impact on whatever play just happened. The play is usually over.
Right.
That was in the middle of a play. So my guess is it's like, especially as a pitcher, it's like, dude, let's get the out. Let's let's secure that out. I'm only gonna get like 18 to 21 of those things. Let's secure that one.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. We'll leave it right there. All right, last icon of the night. It's a shiny purple one. We like these. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Number 4 goes to me, even Ezekiel Tovar. We each grabbed an epic in this mini break. This guy's got some tools. I've watched him play a little bit. Obviously, tough gig over there in Colorado, but he seems to be a pretty capable player. I don't know if you've got any take on him at all.
Not much yet. I didn't get to go to our first series in Colorado because I was on the IL, so I've only seen him on TV. Obviously rather be a hitter than a pitcher in Colorado all day.
Yeah.
And normally, I feel like the hitters that they have developed usually end up being pretty dang solid. Mm-hmm. So put that city and that stadium on top of extreme talent. I'm not betting against them.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, that's that. We've ripped 3 packs. We've covered a lot of ground. And as always, appreciate you being here. Always enjoy talking to you. Got any final words before we call this a day?
This was like 3 months in the making for anyone listening. Yeah. We have like literally, I think we're going to do it in spring training. I had a kid. We had some technical malfunctions in there. We've synced up on a couple different road trips of trying to make it happen. Glad we finally got to do it. And, it feels like the right time coming off these the rookie drop and some cool cards. And I tell you what, man, my favorite ones have been the team packs. I really like the way that those look. I went and bought a lot of individual cards from those. They were cheap, and I just like the way they look, kind of like the hollow in the background, and pretty simple but pretty clean. That's what I collected as a kid. I collected mostly hologram cards that were some of them had jerseys in them, right? Like those little cuts of jerseys. A lot of them were like number 51 of 100. Like I told you, I'd go in with $10 and I'd buy 1, maybe 2 cards. And that seems to be what I'm doing nowadays too. So it's been fun. Anxious to see what Candy continues to come out with. You always keep me up to date. But thanks for having me, man. I always enjoy doing this.
For sure. Appreciate you coming on. Like I said last time, we'll have to do it again. Enjoy getting your take both on the collecting side, but of course on the baseball side as well. And I know people appreciate these videos, getting to just kind of mesh those two things together. And yeah, so thanks for coming on again.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, with that is another episode of Talking Candy. My name is Nate. That's Strip, and we will see you guys in the next one.